Let me break down how this music business works, right? In music, we got publishing money and we got master money. We'll start there. Publishing and master money, okay? So, publishing and master money, okay? So, publishing you can think of like streaming revenue. This includes all the streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, all the streaming platforms, YouTube, right? This also includes radio play. This also includes if your song gets played in a TV show, a movie, that is publishing, right? The percentage of what you own on that song is called the publishing split. That's what you own on a piece of audio, your ownership, right? The percentage of what you own. That's what you collect on the publishing side of things. Then you have master. Master is the owner of the master recording. Who owns and controls the actual final file or MP3 or audio, piece of audio that was released right to the world? Who owns that? That is the master recording. There's these platforms called BMI, ASCAP. I think there's one called CSAC and other ones for like overseas musicians and stuff. They basically collect your publishing, your royalties that you've accumulated on the publishing side. So streams, how many times the song got streamed, how many times it got bought on iTunes, how many times it got played on the TV show, how many times it got played on radio. BMI or ASCAP pay quarterly out the year. So every 3 months, you get a check or a direct deposit from these companies, but there's also other platforms, and BMI and ASCAP, they don't collect all royalties, right? There's always some missing. You have other platforms like SoundExchange. SoundExchange will collect radio play. If somebody just puts like a playlist on and your song randomly pops up in there, that is collected by SoundExchange, meaning the user didn't directly pick the song, but it got played because it was being shuffled through a playlist. Then you have international royalties, right? So if you're in the US, BMI is not going to collect all your international royalties. There's going to be some markets that, it doesn't collect on for whatever reason. There's this other platform called Songtrust. Songtrust collects all international royalties that were not picked up by BMI. The good thing about Songtrust is if you reach a certain caliber of income, if they've accumulated a certain amount of money for you, you will be eligible for early payout. That's publishing money, okay? Then you have master money. Master money is whoever owns the song. So for example, if I put out a song, right, and I'm not signed to a label, I didn't sign the song off to a label, no label bought the song, I put it out myself independently, and I made the beat, I wrote the lyrics, and I'm the only artist on the song. I put out the song myself, right? I distribute it myself on like a platform that everybody uses, like DistroKid, TuneCore, United Masters. I'm sure you guys have heard of all of this. These are all distribution platforms, right? That song that I distributed is the master recording, right? And I am the owner of that mastered recording because I own all the percentages of it and I control what happens to that song or where it goes. So if you're smart and you've been picking up, you'll see that the real power and leverage is in ownership, right? If you're like me, you've been making your own beats, writing your own songs, putting your own songs out. I'm talking about as a standalone artist because yes, I've produced for major artists, right? That's publishing money that I'm getting from BMI, especially if they're signed to a major label. That's BMI money that you collect. I don't own those masters, right? The label owns those masters. The label controls what they do. Any music that I put out myself as a standalone artist, Trop Da Vinci myself, that money goes directly to me. So the leverage is in ownership and in catalog. Of course, before any of this, your music has to be good if you really want to make an impact. Your music has to be good, and it's a gradual build. So you see how I broke down the publishing and the master side of things, right? Mind you, this is all with a gradual build, okay? It's like you're building a skyscraper. You add more floors, you redo the rooms, it becomes higher in value.